Okay, so in this example, we're given an equation that models what? What is this equation model? We're looking at the height of a rocket over a certain amount of time. So what does this H stand for?
Height.
Good, it represents the height of the rocket in what? What's the unit? Good, in meters. And T, good, time in what? Minutes, seconds? Seconds, good. So in this question, we're given the equation and they ask us, when will the rocket reach a height of 60 meters? So we want to know when it will reach a height of 60. So where am I going to plug in that information? We're given the value of 60 meters. Will I plug that in for H or T? Good. So let's write 60 equals negative 5t squared plus 40t. If we were to graph this, where would we put time and height? Which axes? What would go on the x-axis, time or height? Good. We would be looking at time and height, okay? So we know that the rocket starts at a certain height, and then it gets launched, and it falls to the ground, right? Obviously, what goes up must come down. We want to know, when will it reach a height of 60 meters? Well, right now we have an equation. We have a left side and a right side, and this is difficult to solve right now because we have the t squared. So if I get rid of this 60 and set this equal to 0, can you solve something if it's set equal to 0, like we did last chapter? So if I take away 60, what's 60 take away 60? 0. What do I have to do to the right side? Subtract 60. So it's actually 0 equals negative 5t squared plus 40t, take away 60. You learned how to solve for a variable. Imagine there was an x there. Doesn't matter what variable we're using. I'll rewrite this as negative 5t squared plus 40t minus 60 equals 0. Can this be factored, and can you find t?
Yes.
Okay, so let me flip the page. So we're going to factor this. Greatest common factor. What's the greatest common factor? Good, negative 5. Everything can be divided by negative 5. So we have negative 5 t squared, then what? Positive 40 divided by negative. Negative 8t, negative divided by negative. Good. Plus 12, yeah. Equals 0. Can we still factor the what's inside the brackets? So we have this negative 5 on the outside. T times t is t squared. What can you multiply together to give you positive 12? That adds up to negative 8. Negative 6 and negative 2 adds up to negative 8. So negative 6, negative 2. So what we have here is t minus 6 is equal to 0, and t minus 2 is equal to 0, right? These are the roots. What are the two roots then? What is t equal to? T is equal to, what's opposite of minus 6? So t equals 6 and t equals 2. Okay, we have two roots to this, right? Remember, it's the opposite integer when it's in factored form. In factored form, it's negative 6, which means that the x-intercept will be at positive 6. Sorry, it's not an x-intercept. I didn't mean to say that. Okay, the question said, when will it reach a height of 60 meters? That's why we added this into the equation. So the rocket will reach a height of 60 meters at 6 seconds and at 2 seconds. And I'll show you a picture of what this looks like so that it will make more sense. If you look on the graph, I just graphed the original question. The original equation was negative 5t squared plus 40t. I just put an x there, okay? So I'll just take that out. I used x in this graphing calculator. What I've done is I've plugged in the original equation and I graphed it using this graphing calculator app. We're trying to find out when the rocket reaches 60 meters. So if you look here, this is at 60, okay? This is 60 meters. Here's one point where it reaches 60, and here's another point where it reaches 60. I had to zoom in and scroll up, but if you scroll down, you'll see that this is approximately at 2 seconds and at 6 seconds, okay? It makes sense. Pretend this was a 0. If this was lower, it's at 2 seconds and 6 seconds. That's when it reaches 60 meters. A parabola is symmetrical. It's going to have 2 points where it hits 60 meters, right? It's not an x-intercept because the original equation, okay, we didn't use the original equation. We had to include this, we had to make the height equal to 60, so then we rearranged the equation. Does that make sense now?
Made with Doodlecast Pro.